Welcome to our conversation with Beth Wade, the foster care recruiter for St. Joseph's Children's Home. This is part of our virtual vendor spotlight with Community Conversations. And we want to thank our sponsors that make this series possible: UAW, Local 862, Norton Healthcare, and Republic Bank. So thank you for joining me today, Beth.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking a little bit before I started recording this about how when you go to the festival, normally you see 100 to 150 booths, and you get to hear about businesses, local nonprofits, things going on in the community. And that's something that, people really enjoy about our festival, our event, as well as many others. So one of the things we're doing with this series is trying to bring some of those organizations to people so you can hear a little bit about what you might have heard about at the festival. So Beth, can you tell me just kind of in, overall, what is St. Joseph's all about?
Yeah, so St. Joe's has been around for a long time. We opened up in 1849, so 171 years serving the Louisville community and children throughout Kentucky. Our mission throughout those years has remained the same. So our mission statement is giving children a home, which is probably the most simple mission statement. One sentence, a fragment of a sentence, but there's so much that goes into that. So when we first opened, it was actually in response to a cholera epidemic. And we were what you would consider to be a traditional orphanage at that time. Of course, throughout the 171 years, the need has shifted quite a bit in Kentucky. So agencies like St. Joe's began opening their doors to children who have been victims of abuse and neglect in their own homes. So they're being removed from their biological homes, put into the foster care system, and agencies like St. Joe's are stepping forward and helping to take care of those children, find safe and loving homes until they are hopefully able to return to biological parents. And if that doesn't work out, then we find adoptive homes for those kids. So we actually have three programs. We have a residential treatment program. So we do have up to 48 kids who live on campus at St. Joe's at any given time. These are children who need a little bit more work. They have experienced severe traumas, and they come and live at St. Joe's, and they have intensive therapy. They have staff who work with them on meeting different treatment goals, and they have staff who really understand and work with them on their traumas. So on average, kids stay in that program for about a year until they're able to transition to a home where hopefully they'll have a successful future. We also have a therapeutic foster care and adoption program. So that's the program I work for. We recruit, train, certify foster parents. We do the whole home study process, and then we help match families with children or children with families, and then we provide ongoing services while the child is in the home. So case management, therapeutic services, crisis support, foster parent support groups, really helping our kids and families bond and have a successful time together. And then we have a child development center too. So it's a early childhood education program that serves children throughout Louisville's community. It's a lot.
That's a lot. And you also have a big picnic.
We do, yeah. So I guess by the time this airs, picnic will probably be over because it is picnic week. That's one of the first things when we are at festivals, people come up and they say, "We know St. Joe's from the picnic." It's huge every year. COVID has certainly, just like with your all's festival, we've had to shift things around, but we're going virtual this year. So there's a lot of exciting stuff going on.
But people can go by and pick up their fried chicken, right?
We're not doing that. We're doing a lot of online raffles that we would typically have in person, and there's a trivia night tonight, so a lot of karaoke contests, virtual karaoke contests. So
Wow. I had not thought about virtual karaoke. Well, it sounds like you guys, I mean, y'all obviously do a lot and you do some very good work. Why is it important for you to be at Pride festivals?
Yeah, so when we talk about creating families, we talk about creating families, period. So it's important for us to know that members of the LGBTQ community have our support. We can certify any family who is able to give a child a safe and loving home. You know, and I think diversity and inclusion is not just important to our agency, it's important to the kids we serve. So it's important that we have families who can open their homes and provide stability, structure, love, support to a child who may not have that otherwise. And it doesn't matter what the makeup of that family looks like. It could be a one-parent home. It could be a two-parent home that both the parents are not married. It could be a same-sex couple. So very open to just safe and loving homes, period. I mean, I think that's the most important message that we can put out there.
Are there many LGBTQ children in foster care?
So I'm glad you asked that. We do see a lot of children within the LGBTQ community who come into care, and we've actually have children, you know, as they grow older, they start voicing the families they feel comfortable in. So we might have a referral for a child who needs a home who specifically says, I want a home with two moms, or I want a home with two dads, or I want a single parent home. Children who have asked to be placed in a home with a family that is understanding and supportive of the fact that they might be gay or they might be transgender. And it's important that we have families who, again, can take those kids in and love them and support them and just create an environment where they can thrive, because that's something they haven't had in the past.
How has COVID impacted your all's work and the foster care system overall?
Yeah, like everyone, it's been a challenge. I've been amazed at the resiliency our families and our kids have shown over the last several months, but it was a big adjustment. I would say St. Joe's right off the bat, you know, before Healthy at Home became a thing, we were healthy at home. We went on a Monday, and they said, we have to take this seriously. We have kids who we have to keep safe. So we started limiting the number of employees who were able to be on campus. We still are, I'm at home. We had to move a really hands-on support system to a virtual system. So it was making sure our families who were used to having case managers in their homes at least twice a week were getting that virtual contact because we couldn't be in the homes any longer, making sure that we were increasing contact. We had to move all of our therapeutic services to telehealth. So props to our therapists, because sitting down with a 5 or a 6-year-old for an hour on a telehealth session, I know is no easy feat. So they've been amazing. And then another thing too, I mean, in May, we hit in Kentucky the highest number of kids who were in out-of-home care that we have ever had in our history. So that was a sign to us, we can't stop recruiting just because we're working from home, just because we can't do in-person recruitment classes or certification classes doesn't mean we can stop this mission, you know. So it's finding ways to still reach out to the community, finding ways to still certify families, because the need for foster parents is really greater than ever right now.
How many children are in out-of-home care?
So in May in Kentucky, we surpassed 10,000 children who were in out-of-home care. So we're actually in Kentucky, we are the leading state for childhood abuse and neglect, which is not a statistic we should be proud of. And it really does take not just agencies like St. Joe's, but it takes the community coming together and stepping up and providing safety and stability for all of these kids.
Yeah, that's definitely a sobering statistic, as they say. I mean, that's really a huge number of kids that are in need of help, and it's certainly not. Is that trending upwards or?
Yeah, it's trending upwards, and it has been for a few years. Especially, one of our biggest concerns, and one of the biggest concerns for all of Kentucky's child welfare system, is with schools being closed, a lot of doctors' offices being closed, how many reports have gone unreported? How many instances of childhood abuse and neglect have gone unreported? So that's a really scary thing for us to think about. We do expect to see even an influx in those numbers over the next few months as, our state continues to open up.
And, we can certainly talk about this topic for a long time, and it's a very important topic. I want to ask you two things. One, if people are interested in finding out more about St. Joseph's and foster care or adoption through St. Joe's, how do they do that? And then if you can, share maybe a positive story for us to close on, since there's a lot of depressing news and there's a lot of depressing information, but I always like to close out on something a little happier. Yes,
I like that. You added that in. So if you're interested in becoming a foster parent, I encourage you to, and two, you don't have to be at a point where you're like, sign me up, I'm ready to go. Give us a call if you have questions. That's what I always tell people as I'm talking to them in the community. Just because you have a conversation with me doesn't mean you have to commit to being a foster parent. I want people to learn more. I want people to ask questions. If nothing else, they take information and they spread it to other people. So if any little piece of you inside of you feels like this might be something I can do, give us a call. You can call us at 502-893-0241. Or you can look us up online. Our website is sjkids.org, or you can shoot us an email at info@sjkids.org. And just let us know that you have questions about being a foster parent. We can chat via email, phone, whatever you're comfortable with. We have info meetings at least once a month. It's very informal. They're all virtual right now. So our next informational meeting is on August 21st at 10 a.m. But I'm super flexible. I do a lot of one-on-one sessions with people and meetings. So again, give us a call and we'll figure out what works for your schedule. Our next round of classes is on September 22nd. So if you feel like you might be interested in moving forward, just reach out to us before then and you can be set up to start those classes. Let's see. What was the next question?
Just a positive story or memory to close out on, rather than, we were founded during a cholera epidemic and, Yeah,
well, I will tell you that in 2019, we had 22 adoptions, which is amazing. So we were able to create 22 forever families. Foster care was, of course, created as a short-term solution, but there are a lot of times when kids aren't able to return to their biological parents. So St. Joe's loves adoption days. We celebrate adoption days. So 22 in 2019. And something I think is really cool is that the pandemic did not stop adoptions. So we actually had our first virtual adoption. The court called in and the judge called in via Zoom, and we were able to make a forever family official through Zoom. So that was really cool.
Wow. Well, thank you. That's good news to hear about. I'm glad to know that things have not ground to a halt. So thank you, Beth, for joining me today to talk about St. Joe's. And hopefully we'll be able to see each other in person next year at the festival.
Yes, we look forward to it.
So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.